Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us for our Produce Update webinar today. We really appreciate you joining us and just want to cover a couple quick reminders before we get into it. So first of all, as a reminder, your lines are all muted, so you can type in questions if you have any questions or raise your hand if you'd like to ask any questions out loud. And today we have Heidi Koh, our Senior Produce Sourcing Representative, and Kate Burgraff, Agency Relations Manager, joining us to share some information about produce and how things are going. So it's great to have you all here with us today. Our agenda today, we're going to be talking a little bit about some farmer updates, sourcing updates and any issues that have been coming up, a little bit more about produce quality, and then some updates on some funding. And we'll have time for questions as we go and also at the end. So with that, I am going to go ahead and turn it over to Heidi to share a little bit of information about our farmers and what's happening out in the field this summer.
All right, good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining this seminar. I do have the good fortune of working with farmers in our service area and across the state of Minnesota to bring in fresh produce straight from the field. The farmers I work with are all wonderful people, really happy to see all of their produce going somewhere where people can eat it. The main thing I hear from farmers when they have to disc in the field is that they, even if they don't get a reimbursement for it, they just want to know somebody's eating it. It's hard to put all that work into produce and then just disc it in. So they are grateful to have a home for this produce. I'll give you a story of one of our farmers. His farm is Twin Cities Harvest Festival in maize. He grows a lot of pumpkins, sweet corn, and watermelon. We get watermelon from him, and the reason is he grows seedless watermelon, but he also has to grow a few acres of seeded watermelon for pollinators, and then he donates that seeded watermelon to us. And I know that watermelon is one really popular item, so he's one of the farmers we can thank for that. I wanted to give you a little update on weather and market, which determines what we bring in here at Second Harvest Heartland. So as every year, there is good and bad. This has been a really good year for sweet corn, as you've all probably noticed. Usually by Labor Day, sweet corn is winding down, so we are bringing maybe our last loads of sweet corn in this week. Then they trickle in a little bit for the next couple of weeks, but we're pretty much wrapping up sweet corn season, and we have had so much that we've even had to turn some down. So sweet corn's been real positive. On the flip side of that, you may have noticed we haven't brought in as many peppers, and that's because there's been so much rain that it causes more blight. So the peppers are not as good, and we can't. So there's no excess. A real interesting one for us this year is there's always been a lot of sweet potatoes. Or I'm sorry, not sweet potatoes, regular potatoes. This year we're going to see a shortage, and that's because up in the Red River Valley they had so much rain that some of the growers lost up to 80% of their crop. So there is a shortage of potatoes this year instead of an overage. So that's just some examples of what we work with the farmers and why we bring produce in and why sometimes we can't because of either weather or market conditions. Zucchini is winding down. Cucumbers are about done. Watermelon, we'll have another week or two. We'll start seeing more winter squash now. I've heard various things from growers. Some growers, winter squash is doing great. Others, again, because of so much rain, they haven't been able to get into their fields. So it's a little up in the air still about how much availability there will be for winter squash. Another crop we were hoping to get a fair amount of this fall was storage cabbage, and again, we'll have to see because of the rains how much cabbage is available. Another crop that I know is very popular is apples, and again, weather related because we've had some pretty strong late frosts in April, May that really affected some of the apple crop. So we've spoken to a few different apple growers. Some lost a fair amount of their crops, some are doing okay. So I would say overall you can expect apples to be down a little bit from last year. That is a basic summary of some of the crops and what we expect and what we've seen, an overview. So that's about all I have for right now.
Yeah, and I just wanted to take a moment if there are any questions specifically for Heidi's updates. We can give a little space for that now.
I do want to mention one more thing. You know, we work with some growers who have lots of acreage, and we bring in truckloads of produce here at Second Harvest, but we also work with a lot of the small growers around the state and connect them to a local food shelf or agency in their area. So we work with a variety of sizes of farms and a variety of methods of bringing that product into the food relief system.
Excellent. Thanks, Heidi. I just wanted to share a little bit more with you about some other sourcing updates related to produce, but from other sources. And so some of the produce that we get in at Second Harvest and that gets to go out to you and your clients is from local growers, but some of it is also from food rescue relationships. And we wanted to just provide you with a bit of an update that we've heard from a few of our food rescue partners that they're taking an increased look at any of the shrink or excess that they have related to produce within their stores. And so we're continuing to work with them to make sure that even as they look at how they can be more efficient and save dollars and reduce what they might need to throw or donate, that they still maintain their donations to all of you. And that will be very important as we go forward. But just wanted to provide you with that update. And if you're hearing information from stores that you're connected to, we encourage you to reach out to either your account specialist or your food rescue specialist as well, and talk through how we might be able to support continued strong donations from that avenue. The other area that we're looking at in terms of produce donations at Second Harvest is actually connected with some of the distributors that we work with. So this is in the organizations, companies that are accessing different types of produce and then distributing out to other companies, and that they do donate into our system. It's a very small amount of the produce donated into our system. But we wanted to let you know that we're actually looking more closely at that product and wanting to really ensure that the product that is being donated from those companies is actually good quality products that can go out to clients, and that we're not having to waste it, put it into the waste stream on our end, or actually send it on to you and having you have to deal with waste on your end. So we're going through an audit of those donations at this time to make sure that the quality is at a level that we feel confident in, and we're having conversations with those distributors about that as well. Heidi, is there anything else that you wanted to share related to that?
Not right now. I think you pretty much covered what we're working on for that.
Mm-hmm. So I think we just want to make sure that you know where we are looking into produce quality from any of our number of streams, and having that conversation. The pounds that come in from distributors is actually quite small, and so even if we would have to end up saying no to certain donations due to quality, we don't anticipate it having a large impact on what you're able to receive from us.
Great. Thank you so much, Heidi and Kate. Are there any questions at this point about any of these items mentioned about sourcing from our farmers, different issues with any produce? anything like that, those food rescue or the distributor produce? Okay, well, if you come up with a question, we will have some time as we move on. But speaking of quality, wanted to just have a little reminder here. So recently we have heard that there have been some not quite suitable for human consumption cucumbers that have gone out to food shelves. And so in light of that, we wanted to remind you of the procedure here, and I'm just going to show you on Agency Zone for when something happens that when you're getting produce that is not edible. So first of all, we do say that we expect a 10 to 15% spoilage rate on produce, and that is just due to handling and the fact that some of that produce is maybe not the right at the start of its life or the top quality produce. So we want to just remind folks that we do anticipate that amount of spoilage. If you are seeing more than that, what we would like you to do is let us know about that, both so we can share that with our sourcing department and so that we can get you a credit for it. So the way you would do that, when you're on Agency Zone, you just go to this Contact Us link. And then if you see here, the form will pop up. You just, your agency will pop up in here and you'll be able to fill out the information and then select the issue. And so in this case, if you've gotten cucumbers or any other produce that doesn't look good, you would be choosing product availability and quality. You can also reach out to the orders desk or your account specialist with this information, but this is the direct way and this is what we're doing when you contact us as well. So just to let you know, this is kind of the way that you can put it right in. And we do really appreciate knowing every time that you are getting anything that does not meet the standards of being able to give it out to people at your food shelf or program. We want to make sure that that we're sending you good things, and so part of that is tracking internally and making sure that we're tracking these things back when they do happen. Kate, have you anything to add?
Yeah, I would just really encourage you, if it's easy for you to access and go online and fill out this Contact Us form, that this is a really great first only step that you need to do if you can do that. And part of the great thing about filling it out on the Contact Us on Agency Zone is that it is actually automatically emailed out to a group of people here at Second Harvest, so we can respond to you right away. So it goes to our order desk, but it also goes to our food sourcing team so that they know right away any sort of quality issues that we might be having with produce. And so if you are able to do that, of course, if you just have a phone and you need to make a call, feel free to call Agency Services. But if you can fill it out online, that really gets it to the people that need to know as quickly as possible.
Yes, thank you. And it provides us with the information we need to know, like your program number. So it makes it easy on everybody's end.
Sure.
Any questions about produce quality or about how to submit that information?
I just want to really reiterate what Katie has been sharing, is that we want to know if there are quality issues with produce. We want to either address it here at our end, if it's an issue on our end, or address it with a farmer or grower, if that would be where the issue is happening. And we do want to credit you for that product. We don't want to be charging you for product that you actually can't distribute out to your clients. I think the other thing that is helpful for us to know is if you are having added costs due to waste, managing the waste of a particular pallet, please let us know that as well so that we can try to rectify that too.
Great. So if there aren't any questions at this point, we'll go ahead and move on to the next subject here. And Kate and Heidi will be sharing just a little bit more with us about the Minnesota Department of Agriculture Farm to Food Shelf funding.
All right, I'll start in on that. And I see from some comments you couldn't hear me very well, so I'm going to talk a little bit louder. Hopefully you can hear me okay this time. I'm not sure if you all know about the Farm to Food Shelf funding, that it's a pass-through to the farmers in the state of Minnesota to reimburse just a portion of their cost to harvest any excess that they may have. So it's an incentive for the farmers to, and just to help cover a little bit of their costs. It takes money to harvest it out of their field if it's a crop that they can't use in order to get it to the emergency food system. So this incentive just helps cover a little bit of that labor cost to pull it out of the field. We have been using that money throughout the state, not just here at Second Harvest Heartland, but throughout the state through the Feeding America food banks and all agencies connected to get this money to the growers in the state. We will be running out of those funds probably mid-October this year. The state's fiscal year is July to July, so we've been using these funds since July. We'll run out mid-October or sometime in there, and then we'll be getting funds again next July. So really the only thing it's going to affect is some of the storage crops, carrots, onions, potatoes. But just wanted to give you an update on that funding and the status of it. Anything else you wanted to add?
Yeah, so just a couple reminders related to that. The initial funding from the state was a particular dollar amount for 3 fiscal years for the state, and so that's kind of why we're feeling this pinch at the end of this, is that we had 2 really successful growing seasons, and then we're kind of coming up on the 3rd year. And I know there are a lot of conversations happening internally about how we make sure that we can ensure that you are getting the produce that you need to distribute to clients and our hungry neighbors. And so we're continuing to think creatively about how we help make that happen, but that this will be something that will look a little bit different than it has been in the past. We do anticipate that that funding will be restored as part of the base budget with the MDA, and so starting with the state's fiscal year of July 1st, 2017. So we'll keep you updated on that, keep you posted, and in particular how and if it would impact you and your work in any way. But all the more important to help support this funding and make sure that it can continue in the future and keep healthy food in our system.
Great. Thank you, Kate and Heidi, for providing that information. Does anybody have any questions about that or about any of the other topics that we spoke about today? While we just wait and let people put in their questions, if there are any, I wanted to just give you a quick sneak preview of an event that will be coming up next month. We're planning something to celebrate all the hard work that everyone has been doing in produce. And so watch for something that will be, kind of an open house type event, something that will be an opportunity for you to learn a little bit more about what we're doing over here at Second Harvest with produce and meet some more folks. But we would love to have you come join us and just celebrate all the wonderful work that has happened. So I'm not seeing any questions coming in at this point. And as a reminder, you can always ask your account specialist if you do have any questions that come up around produce or any of this information. Kate or Heidi, anything else to add?
No, I just want to say a big thank you to all of our partners that are engaged in produce during the produce season. There's a lot more challenges that happen with produce than shelf-stable goods, and so we know that that you all are working really hard to deal with those new challenges, and we thank you for being on this journey with us.
Yes, thank you very much. And one last good question here. When is the next update webinar for produce? And that'll again be the second Monday of October. So that would be the 10th at 11:30 a.m. So thanks again to everybody, and we have recorded this as well, so if you have anybody who you'd like to share it with, please let us know. We can get you the link. And thanks again to Kate and Heidi for sharing this information and taking the time. Have a great day, everybody.